just been sat down binge watching a YouTube playlist about things that people don't do when they homeschool, and I thought I would make myself a coffee and sit down and film some of my own don'ts, the things we don't do when we home educate. That's just the coffee machine. I mean, are you even on YouTube if you don't film yourself making coffee? So I've got my coffee, my fuel. I'm literally like got my camera stacked up on a pile of books here, and I'm having to kind of crouch down a bit in my seat, but I hope you can see me okay. Talking of books, hang on. This is completely not related to the video, but I just have to show you the book that I'm reading at the moment because it's so good. It's at the bottom of this pile. Hang on a second. So Gabor Mate's The Myth of Normal. It's been doing the rounds at the moment. He's been on a load of podcasts, but it is so good, honestly. I think I might do a video on all the bits out of this that can relate to homeschooling, home education, because there are a lot of things, as we know, about education that people take as being normal when they are actually completely the opposite of normal and even harmful. But yeah, if you get a chance to read this, it's a bit of a brick of a book, but it's quite an easy read, so yeah, really recommend that. Anyway, like I said, that's nothing to do with this video. I just saw it and thought I would put it in there. This video is about the things that we don't do as home schoolers, or home educators as we call it here in the UK. I've left my laptop in the other room where I made my notes. Hang on. As you can tell, I am so totally a YouTuber, really organised with this. But I was actually watching, have you ever seen the YouTuber Ali Abdaal? He's kind of like a productivity type YouTuber, but he has this really good videos. He's just done a remake recently of it, but about how to get started on YouTube. And his first point is you get going, and then the second point is then you get good. So I'm just trying to focus on the getting going at the moment, which is why in places it won't be good. So what do we not do as home educators or homeschoolers? This is going to be a bit off the cuff, but bear with me. The first thing we do not do as homeschoolers is really stay at home very much. I love my house, and we've set up a couple of, areas that are conducive for home educating, I suppose. But I would say a fair amount of our learning actually happens outside of the four walls of our house. So we go to a lot of park meetups to meet up with other home educators and socialise and feel like you're not the only weird one in your area. We go on to museums, we go on day trips places, we go to other people's houses, other home educators, and meet up there. So I almost like have a bit of, not a problem with the word home education, but it does sort of like, it's still in some way denotes that you're going to be doing school at home or education at home. And actually we just I guess we're a bit unschooly, but I believe that we do so much learning just by living normal life, and a lot of normal life doesn't just happen at home. It happens when you go into the post office, or to the supermarket, or to the train station, or to the park, or to the library. You get my drift. So first thing we don't do as homeschoolers is spend all our time at home. Number two, the second thing that we do not do as home educators is follow a curriculum. So in the UK we have, if you go to school, you follow the national curriculum, and you can follow that if you want to as a home educator, or you can follow a different type of curriculum. As I'm sure you know, there's tons out there. I've never bought a curriculum, I've not sort of looked it up online, we don't follow one. Bearing in mind, did I even say this? My twins are only, actually if you watch my last video, you'll know my twins have just turned 5, and they have a baby brother. They have a younger brother who is 2.5. So I'm very much, I guess, of the opinion that we don't really need to be following a curriculum right now. If we that might change in the future, As is quite widely known in the UK, we kind of start school a lot earlier than some of the other European countries. So for example, I was just watching a video on YouTube the other day about Finland and how they don't start until they're 7. And even then they only do 20 hours, which is way less than we do in the UK at age 4 and 5. So for that reason, I am still very much going by the living life curriculum, and yeah, reading a ton and doing all the things I mentioned in point 1, like, you know, going to workshops and museums and the library, etc. Number 3 is kind of linked to number 2 in that we don't follow any specific method. I suppose right now what we most closely resemble is unschooling. I would probably, I guess my aim is to be child-led in that I'm following their interests and not just telling them what they should do, but I do probably just pick things that I like from different sort of methodologies. So, you know, if that's like Steiner or Charlotte Mason and all that sort of thing, I'm not that read on anyone in particular, but if I see something that I like from that sort of method, then I will by all means include that, but I wouldn't ever call myself, you know, like a Charlotte Mason homeschooler or strictly follow Montessori or anything like that. I guess we're quite eclectic. Yeah, I think maybe unschoolers is probably the closest to what we align to at the moment. The next thing we don't do as home educators is follow a typical school day. So I don't make my children be ready to start learning at 9 o'clock. You know, we're quite often still like in our pyjamas at 9:30, 10 o'clock, sat on the sofa reading, which I love. Like, there's been so many times I've sort of looked at the clock and just thought, oh, you know, if you are going to school, you'll be sat at a school desk right now or in assembly or whatever, but instead we're all cozied up on the sofa reading the books that you bring into me and like chain reading. And yeah, those are the times that I have those sort of like moments of feeling like we're doing the right thing. Sometimes I kind of wish we were like the type of homeschoolers who are completely ready to go and get started at 9 o'clock, and I think there is something to be said for that, for like getting up and at them, but at the moment we're just not there. Maybe at some point we will be, maybe we won't, but the beauty is we don't have to be. Equally, we could find ourselves lying in bed at sort of 8-9 p.m. and my son, like the other day, he got out his little notebook and we were like writing words in there, and learning was happening at 9 o'clock at night, and I didn't have to be like, no, you need to go to bed because we've got to get up early for school tomorrow. And I just love that learning can happen at any hour of the day and we don't have to follow someone else's timetable. I don't pre-plan very much what we're going to be doing for the day or for the week or the month ahead. I have attempted to sort of write down the things that we have going on regularly. Let me show you. So I had this weekly planner printed out. I think I found it on Canva, where I just wrote down a couple of like regular park meets that were going on. What else did I have on here? Oh, we were doing an online course from the £2 tuition hub for a little bit, so I put that on there, and our Spanish lessons that happened on Friday. And I also was attempting to be super organised and meal plan and put all our dinners that we were going to have. That was from the 9th of January and I haven't updated it since, so I haven't really stuck to that. So instead of pre-planning all the things that we're going to do, what I'm trying to do is we sort of living our life, and then when I notice that there are moments that typical learning is happening that I can write, when we end up having to, in the UK we have to write a report for the LA, usually once, the local authority usually once a year. I haven't been contacted for that yet, but in preparation I've set up a Facebook page that only I'm on, and I write down in hindsight what we've done, and if I can, like, say we were baking, I'll write that we were baking and that they were following a recipe, reading that and doing the maths that's involved in baking. So I'll put that with some pictures on this Facebook page and then tag it with like maths, life skills, etc., so that I can go back at the time and use it for, yeah, just remembering what we've done. And even just for us, it's nice to have like a log and see how we've progressed on certain things. But that's what I do instead of planning ahead. I note down in hindsight what we've done. So I think this will probably be the last one of the things that we don't do, and I don't know if this is going to make me just sound really antisocial, but we don't tend to really go many places on the weekend or during the school holidays, and by that I mean places where there's going to be like a lot of people, like a soft play or a theme park or even a park and that kind of thing. Because I think we're just so used to when we go out during the school term, like the parks are almost empty. If you go to a soft play, it's pretty empty or just younger kids. And if you go to a theme park or a museum or the library, like you kind of get used to just having the place to yourself. And so when it is the weekend, like we have family time. Like my husband's taking the kids out today to a town near us and they'll go to a park and stuff. And then half terms and summer holidays, we usually use that for catching up with friends and family members whose kids are in school, but we'll like go to their house or something. But yeah, I think we just get quite used to having like places to ourselves, and when it is just completely rammed with other families, we tend to avoid that and just catch up with friends and families. Is that bad? I don't know. Does that make me really antisocial? But that's the truth of it. That's what we do. That's what we don't do as home educators, is go out to places when it's the weekend or school holidays, because it's crazy busy and usually more expensive, which is annoying. Anyway, I'm sorry if that was completely disorganised and rambly, but I've enjoyed doing this collaboration. Check out the rest of the playlist because it's really interesting to see what other people don't do, and it kind of, I feel like, takes some pressure off, because you feel like sometimes, I think as a home educator, you feel like you should be proving something and doing everything, doing all the things, and it's quite nice to see that actually other people aren't doing all the things and still thriving. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.